of you to explain yourself regarding your industry experience, regarding your working domain, so that all our viewers can watch you very closely regarding your expertise. So I welcome Nilanjan first to introduce himself.
Thank you so much, Shilpa. I think that introduction itself was good enough. Let me still speak a few words. So, and thank you once again because you made me feel 5 years younger.
Oh.
Uh, I have a little more than 30 years of experience, but I started off primarily, in the manufacturing domain and doing a lot. So I'm an electronics engineer by profession, passed out in 1989 from IIT Kharagpur. And since then, actually, I've been working with various organizations, but primarily into industrial automation. So what
Okay.
we call machine learning today is actually something that, you know, I know had actually started somewhere around 80s, 85s. And, but since then, there has been a lot of progress. And while I have moved to different organizations, the organization that I'm currently working with is IBM. I'm here for little more than 3 years now, and I'm looking after global delivery of projects in machine learning and artificial intelligence.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nilanjan. Now I request Yogesh to introduce himself.
Well, I would echo Niranjan's view. Uh, Personally, I'm also a mechanical engineer, and I did my post graduation from IIT Mumbai. Uh, After my main experience was in computer-aided design and mostly working with geometry. And as it goes, it allows me to work with various manufacturing, uh, aerospace, and construction and oil and natural gas industries. Currently, I'm part of Bentley Systems, and we deal with various constructions and oil and natural gas, as well as big construction projects such as airports and other smart cities. In fact, Pune Metro is one of the examples which you could see that it is modeled with Bentley Systems. Uh, as a part of, so we are not uh, traditionally, or we are not focused mainly on machine learning or AI, but we use AI as an applied way of solving our issues, and mostly our problems are engineering problems. They might be from oil and natural gas, or they might be from solving if what would happen if some bridge issue would be there, or what would happen if energy saving system needs to be in place for a particular building. So we try to solve those kind of issues with our AI solutions.
Okay. Wonderful, Yogesh. Tavish, can I request you to introduce yourself?
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Tavesh Kavanda, I'm really excited to be here. So, thanks everyone of you who are watching. I'm also an electronics engineer by trade, so I can really relate to Nilanjan. So, I graduated at the DUT here in South Africa, Durban University of Technology. I started off with Siemens, the German company. I was a pure software engineer for the first decade of my career, .NET, SQL, building enterprise grade solutions. Been with Microsoft now for the last 11 years on the data business primarily. And I mean, without getting into too much detail, my current role for the last few years has been working on big data and AI solutions for our largest customers here in Southern Africa. One of them is, of course, Standard Bank. So it's good to see COSI as well. So that's me in a nutshell.
Cozy, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Shilpa, for having me here. I see some familiar faces. I'm Khosi Molefe. I'm going to be about 14 in 2 months' time. I'll be 14 years, so I'll be growing in the industry. So I've been 13 years in the industry, and I started out as a Linux engineer, and through obviously my passion being technology, I made sure that I actually advanced myself with teaching myself a whole lot of things that go from data analytics, data sciences. And obviously, I started my journey into what people call the fourth industrial revolution through a basic solution called robotic process automation. And I think that opened up the world to me in terms of how I can actually start utilizing the whole AI spectrum end to end in terms of transforming the business. And I think currently with where I am at Standard Bank, it actually allows me to do that because there's a lot of change that's happening within our business model from a traditional banking and financial services institution, but to more of a platform base that enhances customer experience. And I'm currently a resilience engineer within the enablement team in order for us to actually deliver the vision of where Standard Bank is going, the vision and the strategy and the reality of where it's currently at.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So, learners, you are watching us live on all the platforms. So, you can imagine that how many of them are so much happy with what they are working in their AI field, and what. So, I think your all the queries what you have sent, and we have selected the queries which are repetitive, and many of you have got. So, can we start the informative session? I will call one by one. It's not like that only you have to answer, because learners want to know everyone's perspective. So it's not like that only one should tackle. So we want the session to be very informative. So very first question I would like to go regarding everyone has asked that what is the basic experience required to become an AI expert? What is the basic experience is required to become an AI expert? So Nilanjan, we can start with you, and then everyone can participate, and then we can roll on the questions.
Okay, thank you, Shilpa. I understand that my answer will be a little unconventional because I have come into so-called field of AI and machine learning at a very later stage of my life. So I really don't think that you need to have certain things as a prerequisite in which you have to train yourself or something like that. I think all you need is basically love for data. So when you start looking at a data and then you try to twist it around, turn it around, and look at it from different dimensions. So if you have that passion for data, and then of course you have to love mathematics.
Yeah.
I think these are the two basic prerequisites that you would need. A programmer's mind is nothing but a very logical mind. So if you understand logic, I think it is good enough.
Yeah. Okay. Tavish, what is your opinion about this? And then I'll come to Yogesh, as he is a perfect coder since many years, and then with Cozy.
Now, I have to agree with Nilanjan there, because what we call AI, it's a big field. A subset of that is machine learning and data science. And I was talking the other day on another call, and I was saying the data engineering is actually a very important piece of this, where projects can fail if the data engineering is not done properly. So to answer the question, if you have the passion to get into this field, you should get into it. It's still going to be an exciting field for at least another decade or 2 decades. If you find the mathematics a bit overwhelming, you don't have to become a data science. If you have more love of data, look at data engineering, where there's a massive requirement today, and a lot of enterprise projects have a shortage of data engineers. So, and then obviously if you have a programming background, you'll fit in either way. So I agree with my colleague, love of data, mathematics, but there are various subfields emerging. So if one is a bit too challenging for you, you can target or aim to get into one of the others. But do consider the field. That's what I can summarize.
Okay. So Yogesh, being a coder for many years, you second their opinion, or your opinion is different?
My opinion is a little bit different. Also, it comes from my own experience as well as experience that I had surprisingly with open source community at various places. So of course, you need to have aptitude for mathematics. You need to understand data. At the same time, I would add on top of that is that I think it is true that if you take science to a perfect level, it almost becomes an art. And it is especially true with AI, because the AI, the way you apply it to data, is kind of an art. Which algorithm you would like to apply, which model you would like to fit into, and how you would like to uh, draw conclusions from the given data. It kind of merges the science and aptitude of a person in an artistic way. In fact, uh, I spent a couple of months in New York just to participate in open source community, and I had chance to work with people of various backgrounds, and hardly 25% of them were programmers. Many
Oh,
of them were journalists. They were from media. They were from artistic houses. I even saw a drapery of a play which was designed by applying AI algorithms. And
wow.
that person who did it was media person all his life, and he recently learned programming only to apply these techniques, which was just amazing.
Wonderful. Means, Cozy, you can add your opinion. Like you will be completing. You told that you are also software engineer. So Nilanjan, Tavish, and Yogesh, they are saying Yogesh's opinion is bit different. If you have knowledge of programming, it will be a cherry on the cake. But what is your opinion?
No, fair enough. And I think everybody has been speaking about something quite pertinent, and it goes to the mathematics capability. And I think that is true, but it doesn't necessarily, how can I say, build up how one needs to actually become an AI expert, you know? I think I've seen where people who are very good in maths but not good in solving real business problems. They can solve a coding problem, but they can't solve a business problem. Whereas the type of thinking that they have is not really aligned with how we need to. That's why we've got DevOps, right? Development and operations, in order for us to actually move forward. So, and I think it also goes with one key thing that I believe everybody here on this call has. It's a passion for what we do. I was just saying yesterday that I I don't work for my industry. I live in my industry, meaning that this has become so much of my life
Yeah.
that when I speak about it, you can see the love that comes out of my eyes for it, for lack of a better word. It's all about how you actually align yourself to become the best with what you're doing. So that's the most important thing. If you don't have the passion for it, then you're just going to be another number that is crossing the line. And we've seen that in many industries where people go into the industry because maybe they've heard that somebody is either earning a lot of money out of it, or it's the new thing and it's the easiest way to get employment, but they've never aligned themselves in terms of, am I passionate about this? Is this what I want to do? Today it might be palatable, but is it still going to be a cup of tea for me in the next 10 years? And that's how people need to look at it. And that's how you become an expert. It's aligning your passion, right? Thinking critically about how you apply your job, and being positive in terms of everything that you try to do.
Wonderful. So, learners and students, those who are watching, you can see that all the four industry experts are telling you that no need to have, you should be having a coding background, strong coding background. What you all need to have, that is a passion for the data and what you want to do in the field of data. So, I think the first query is resolved, that if there is a coding background, it will be an additional advantage. But yes, if you don't have coding background also, if you just want to start the AI you want to enter in the field of AI also late also, it is possible. Now the next question is there for Tavish. The question is, the project AI will be allowed to work on hands on data in training in big industries, or do I have to start with the small companies and then I can jump on bigger giants?
No, I
This
don't.
question is for you.
No, I don't think you necessarily have to go to a large company. I think what I've seen over the last few years is that some smaller companies did great work in the machine learning and AI fields because they had the data, they had the business use cases, and they understood how AI could improve the business. To be honest, some larger companies had the data engineering problem that I mentioned earlier, where the company is so large and they've got data all over the place. They had to do a few years worth of data engineering, bring the data together, get clean, curated data before they got meaningful AI out of it. And remember, you can have the best algorithms and the best data scientists, but if the data itself is not of good quality, uh, you won't get good answers out of your models. So I think you want to be at the right company who have a passion for it. There are still some companies out there that don't get how AI has a solid use case for their business. I've seen them do POCs that go nowhere. They shut it down, and their experience with AI was just, we did some POCs, we didn't put anything into production. So don't rule out the smaller companies, but look for a company that has the same passion for it that you would have.
Yeah, because they have the main question, like, if we don't get break into a smaller company, how will I go to the bigger companies? So Nilanjan and Cozy and then Yogesh, you please share your opinion for on this particular thing, whether many almost 50-55 students learners, they have asked that starting from a smaller company to bigger company, this journey is very difficult or it is a cakewalk after they get the particular you can say the particular certificate or expertise, because only certificate of completing the program will not be enough, they have to have small experience. So they are saying that until and unless we get the experience, we don't get the job in the field of data. But in the field of data, if we don't have experience, what is our future? We have to start from smaller companies only, or it is applicable for bigger companies? So they just want to know the status for fresher as well as for experienced people from smaller to bigger giants. Nilanjan, Cozy, and then Yogesh.
Yeah, I actually don't think it is really a problem of whether it has to be a small organization or a large organization.
Exactly.
Um, because talking from my experience, I have worked in small startups also, and now with IBM, which is a huge company, we are always playing, and data science and artificial intelligence is a huge playground where you keep on experimenting, and you never know. Today you reach a solution, tomorrow you have a much better solution. Even the neural networks have actually been evolving that way. So earlier you had one neural network, today you have one neural network questioning another neural network. So experimentation is there in all sizes of companies. I don't think, as a starting point, if you have a small company, uh, it is a disadvantage. I don't think it is a disadvantage. I don't think if you're working in a large company and you want to move on to a smaller company, that also is going to be an advantage or a disadvantage. Neither way, as long
Correct.
as you are working, you are learning, you are playing with data, you're playing with models, you're playing with algorithms, I think it doesn't make a difference.
Okay. Yogesh?
Well, I totally echo Tavesh's view. Uh, it doesn't matter whether you work for a small company or a large company. I think one of the most important thing if you start working is the data itself. You
Yes,
need to
exactly.
you first need to check whether the data is authentic, whether that company or an organization they do have access to the data, which is secure enough and like it is gathered in an ethical way
Okay.
without and I talk from my own experience. I worked with big companies where we had to deal with simulated data, which I can tell you that those models don't take you anywhere. And I had my own startup, and we had very less amount of data, but still we were able to do few things which I wasn't able to do as a part of large organization. But now that I'm again in a company which is a bigger size and we do have actual engineering data, we can do much more than I could have thought of previously. Uh,
Wonderful.
so having an access to a legitimate data is, I think, is very important if you would like to join any organization.
Cozy, your view, please.
All right, thanks. So just to elaborate on what Yogesh, Tavash, and Milijan are saying. The data, once you've got data, right, that you can work with, it doesn't matter which company you work in. I've seen, and we've seen a lot of rise of startups who are offering an AI offering, or in different spectrums to different companies, and I think they best work together because of the inquisitive of actually getting into that data that they want to get into, right? So now, necessarily it doesn't matter which company you work for. If a company has got a really, and like the strategy of today cannot be the strategy of yesteryear, because the strategy of today is all about digitization. And where do you start your digitization journey? You started basically from everything that is data, bringing what you don't know together in order for you to know what you're putting through that forward. So it doesn't matter which company you basically work for. I've worked for big, I've worked for small, I've been in the professional services and all of that, but it's all about where the organization really wants to go and how they're actually going to outline the different types of skill sets that they need in order for them to go to actually go and grow where they want to be. It's not necessarily about the size of the organization.
Okay, so students, you can see that it's your question was like to how to small, if you don't have any experience, whether you have to start from smaller companies and then you can jump to the big giants. Also, all of them are saying that it doesn't matter in which company you are working. It matters that on what type of data you are working, whether it is legitimate data, whether it is ethical data. So that is the main part. So please remove this doubt from your mind that where if I start from a smaller companies, what will be my future. So remove this from mind, because it's always better to be a big fish in a smaller pond. Everyone says like that. So start from small company, doesn't matter. The next question is coming for all of you. That is, it is written as, can you explain what is the difference between big data analytics and AI analytics? Any of you can voluntarily start answering the question, because this question has been asked repetitively. What is the difference between big data analytics and AI analytics? So yeah, Tavish, yeah.
Can I start? Yeah. So
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
big data analytics is a continuation of what we've been doing for almost 30 years. We had reporting systems for many years. Then we had data warehouses. About 15 years ago, business intelligence became a buzzword. So the buzzwords change, but it's around reporting systems. And over the last 10 years, we've had the ability, thanks to improved technology, things like cloud, to just collect vast amounts of data, not just from your source systems, but also things like IoT devices. So the amount of data we can now collect and deal with is just larger and larger. Some customers have in the petabytes. So we call that big data analytics, but it's doing the reporting on that. Machine learning can take that data from your big data platforms and apply the machine learning algorithms to it to not just report on what happened, but to try to do some predictions or some classifications and clustering, find patterns in the data. Machine learning is a little bit more advanced in terms of what we're doing with the data. Big data is just a natural progression of where we came from the reporting systems and data warehouses of a decade or so ago.
Okay. Anyone want to answer this query?
Yeah, I would just, like to make a little addition to what Tavesh just mentioned. So today, particularly when he mentions about IoT devices, these are data devices which are throwing off data at a very high velocity. And that actually has helped evolve a new branch, which is basically also looking into analytics while the data is in movement. Okay, so streaming data as it is flowing, and then you have technologies like Scala, which is a functional programming language, and using that and the traditional, data lake approach that Tavesh mentioned. Using that, you not only analyze the data, but you also take intelligent decisions where you need immediate actions to be taken. So that I think is basically where uh, big data and AI analytics is merging together. So we are almost walking on the edge right now.
Okay. So, what is Yogesh, your opinion on Nilanjan's view and Tavesh's view?
Yeah, I would like to add on top of it, because now we are seeing kind of problems that uh, that were not there previously. So with IoT, we have a lot of edge computing that needs to be done. But one of the issues that we have, and that is where AI and data analytics, they are merging together, is that many a times we don't even have definition of the data.
Okay.
And one of the interesting problem that we are trying to solve is how we can connect together these definitions of data together with their values. And it is typically true in very large engineering organizations. For example, if you get into oil and natural gas, you have data that is collected from all the sensors right on the seabed, and you also need to conduct them with what you see, find them on top of the sea. And to
Okay.
connect them together, every day you come with new definition of data. And where that definition fits is also another problem that can be solved with AI. So it is not only solving the problem with values, it is also solving the problem with definition and connection between these data. So you can have a schema definition, like Nilanjan correctly said, you can take Scala, you can define a pipeline, but then you can also connect this data together and know which part to join together to create a meaningful pipeline. That is also one of the interesting issues and problems that we have today.
Okay.
In fact, we are facing that problem and we haven't solved it.
Okay. Okay. So, on the same line, if you can see that over here, Cozy, I would like to ask Cozy, and Tavesh is already typing the answer. One more question is coming, that is there any chance of IA affecting the agricultural sector? And if yes, how? Are you able to answer, like,
Oh
is
yes, perfect.
yeah.
You know, and I'm thankful for that question because uh, 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 just before I joined Standard Bank, I was busy with some project with the Department of Agriculture,
Okay.
in terms of perimeter guarding. You know, perimeter using geographic. Remember, we said AI, and data is not just one thing. It's a
Hmm.
combination of a whole lot of technologies coming together in order to create that autonomicity. So we actually started with something where we were starting to look at drones from vacant lands in terms of looking where are the water areas, and if there's certain water areas, how can we take cattle or livestock and ensure that it's in that area and
Oh,
through without having too much infrastructure investment of building pipelines and all of that, and understand where we can utilize boreholes of creating water based can I say farming where they can start the cows can actually or their livestock can actually start going to the water and all of that. Because I mean, from a South African perspective, there's so much land, but the infrastructure is not developed in terms of creating that ecosystem that allows for livestock to actually be there. And that's actually a quite interesting project. Now, the other second one that we're trying to look at is that we were trying to look at how we can utilize robotics. Yes, we came with a research that it was actually quite expensive, where we utilize robotics for planting of things. And I think this goes into the mechanical engineering field as well, where we can use robotics for planting, where we can use robotics for irrigation, and it also comes with that thing where we work with geologists to also understand how we can utilize ways of expediting from a geological perspective to see if a land is for farming or if a land will be actually for mining. And we were looking at this in one of the sunny areas of South Africa called Rustenburg in the northwest, and this is where this thing is yet to be piloted, and it's working in conjunction with UNICEF as obviously a driver for eradicating poverty. So there's quite a lot of things that go in there. I mean, they want to utilize drones, they want to utilize robotics in there where we program things, where we, there's quite a lot of things, even IoT, to ensure that that the climate of greenhouses are actually working quite well. So it's growing in the agriculture sector, and we know that it used to be a very labor arbitrage sector. And I think by applying all these things, we are expediting nobody wants to be a farmer nowadays. Unfortunately, everybody wants to wear a suit and be in the office and drive a fast car. Nobody actually thinks about being a farmer. And if we can make sure that we ensure not even job security, food security, by utilizing artificial intelligence and other technologies that bring it together, maybe it'll start becoming palatable again. So yes, it is going to affect the agriculture sector.
Okay, so it's so wonderful that this sector is actually becoming more and more rich with the help of AI applications. Now, the next question, I think this question Yogesh would answer, is it building automation is possible with AI? Because you mentioned in that you are looking into bridges and all that. So I'm just asking. And next question is there for Nilanjan and then Tavesh, because I have just marked the questions to whom I can ask. So Yogesh, please on this.
Definitely. In fact, we already have an application in which we can monitor not only electricity and other devices. We can also monitor if a temperature in one area is dropping because of some air handling units, or if insolation that a building is receiving is causing that energy consumption to rise because of air conditioning is just not set at the correct temperature. So we are able to help many big buildings such as hospitals and airports. In fact, Al Burj is one of them, in which it is possible to control temperature and uh, essentially the carbon footprint of the building, right from the design phase to the operational phase. And it doesn't stop over there. It actually gets into very interesting aspects of construction and management as well.
Okay. So it is
With
possible. Basically, it can be very much possible with the application of AI. So actually the next question I would like to ask to Tavesh, that people are asking over here that I want to make my career in artificial intelligence and machine learning field. So can you please guide me how many minimum algorithms I should learn?
Yeah, I don't think there's a specific answer to that, right? We've seen
Yeah,
over the
correct.
years, the popular ones, you can start by learning the regression. And I know this is very simple. For every value of X, predict me a value of Y, right? Linear regression, logistic regression, where you have a slight S curve. The aim there is to build a model where you can predict variables, right? You then have time series predictions, and the other two popular ones that I've seen where to fit business cases, there's a bit of a joke there. You want to do classification and clustering, k-means clustering, PCM. So unless you are somebody who is very good at maths and you have the strong mathematical background, then you can go really deep into these algorithms and you can become an advanced data scientist. I mean, I'll say to you, I'm a programmer. I like maths, but I'm not a PhD in mathematics. I have a good understanding, and we shouldn't scare people away from the field. So, look to the popular algorithms. Another thing that might affect it is if you want to work in the financial services industry in particular, there will be specific algorithms that banks want to use to fulfill banking use cases. So keep that in mind as well. So I don't think there's one answer. I think it just depends on which direction, which industry you want to go into, and then where you want to be. Do you want to be a really mathematical data scientist? Do you want to be an all-rounder? Do you want to be mostly on the data engineering side, where you will do a lot of systems building and integration, but you might not do a lot of mathematics? And don't forget, things like AutoML are coming for the non-mathematician. So it's really an open-ended answer.
Okay. So basically what happens, let me introduce you like how we conduct the program. So we start from the introduction to statistics, then we go to machine learning, then a few algorithms in supervised, unsupervised, then we take we, as you said, we take regression, classification, and then the decision tree, then k-means, then knn, we go like that. We actually teach them the concept of that, but ultimately they have to implement it. So the next question what is coming, and it has been asked by many people, before I go to Nilanjan, I want you, all of you, by your experience, I want you contribute to this question. The person is asking, the learner is asking, I am new to this field and I don't like statistics, what is my future in this field? So Nilanjan, first you can start from yourself, and then we can, like, because I want you all, I want all of you to share this answer, because statistics is something that people really, this learner is asking, I don't like statistics, what is my future in this field?
I'm about to give you a very biased answer. I think if you hate mathematics and statistics, then maybe data science is not your cup of tea.
Exactly.
But having said that, I have seen programmers who just know which model has to be applied where. And as Tavesh was mentioning, fit and transform. These are the two things that you need to know. So you can still be a data scientist, but I think we already spoke, and Kosi already mentioned, there has to be that passion. And that passion, I think it comes from your love for mathematics and statistics. Loving data is a little difficult, but if you really have that, then you are just the right guy.
Okay, but like Yogesh, what is your opinion? I think all of you must be pro at mathematics or statistics, or maybe you may have a liking for that. But I want to ask Yogesh, what is your opinion? Like, if some person doesn't like statistics, then like even it's like I don't like this thing, but I want to be in the same field. It's like the question is like that type. So you can just answer this. What is your experience by, because I want all of you to answer this, that's why.
Well, my blunt answer is you have to love statistics.
Okay.
Maybe you don't have to love, but at least you have to know how to work with it.
Okay.
Without hypothesis and without basics like null hypothesis, and then finding if something is correct or not, and trying to, if you don't want to do a pair plotting in the initial stages of your data science and I think it's not a good way to get into AI field, and it is not just like you need to apply a model and you solve that problem.
Okay. Moi? Cozy, sorry.
Yes,
Cozy.
yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
okay, I understand. The person who just asked the question hates statistics, and I think Nilanjan spoke about it has to be with a passion. I don't think necessarily the person doesn't have to look at other areas which make up artificial intelligence. They can see which other areas. It also comes into the cognitive analytics side of it, where you don't actually have to do much because it's more on the reporting. And that is also another way that one can actually look at the career. And I understand where they're coming from, because sometimes having to deal with these XYZ, this equation from a mathematical perspective, it becomes quite difficult. All is not lost in doing that. It's just that unfortunately there's certain areas that you will never go into. And also, just to come into Tavesh's point, I mean, I myself didn't do a PhD in maths and all of that, but I think within my degree while I was studying, it is something, there were snippets of maths, from a statistics perspective. And I think that's the basis of that. And that will tell you whether you're going to be a good programmer, or you need to be a person who either works in the artificial intelligence operations side, which is more on the IT service management things of automating things to actually happen, predictive analysis, checking how things are going to be disruptive. But if you're going to be a person who actually develops models, from a core perspective, you actually need to have that mathematical acumen. Otherwise, it's actually futile.
Can I just add two things very
Yeah,
quickly?
I was coming to you only because if you could see the emojis, people are like, they have to love statistics. They are like, so please motivate them by saying something. That's what I was coming to you
I'll,
only.
I'll just say two things. Number one, don't give up. Maybe you think you don't like mathematics because you had a bad experience in school, or maybe
Yeah,
you even
correct.
had a bad experience in varsity. I found in my career, this is career advice, uh, 10 years after working, long after college, I found there were certain things I liked a bit more. My mindset changed. So the short answer is don't give up. Just try it again before you saying definitely you don't like it, right? Number
Correct.
two, there's scope for other things. If you really tried and then you say, you know what, mathematics is not for me, or statistics in particular is not for me, then you can become a data engineer. You can still be in this field, but you can become a data engineer.
Okay, correct. So basically, learners, you can see what everyone is saying. It's not like that you have to love statistics or you have to love mathematics, but at least without strong foundation, you cannot go ahead. So start loving statistics. That is the only answer. Yeah, Yogesh, please share your view.
My view is that without knowing, everybody knows something about statistics. Like we like to predict things. We
Correct.
like to say that we may want to do it, or I may reach there. So what we need to do is we need to convert these statements into some quantitative form, and that is what statistics and probability is all about.
Yeah.
I would say it is not hard at all.
Correct. Actually, we are in our day-to-day life also we are using analytics, statistics, everything because we always start from small questions also in our we ask ourselves and we predict for that. So what Yogesh is saying that is right. But I want to come to Cozy that people are asking that for a non-technical person, how much time it will take to learn Python? And is Python necessary? You all can share, but I'm starting with Cozy.
Okay, right. I think the great Python question always gets asked there. Don't worry, the snake doesn't bite. That's all I can say. And I'm taking it back. No, I'm taking it back. Python, PHP, whatever programming language you do. You really need to start from the basics and make it part of your life. If you're gonna succeed in anything that you want to do, make it part of who you are. Take time to understand it, right? There is nobody who can just out of nowhere become a Python expert, right? I've seen people who are accountants who have learned Python, who are actually implementing it even better than people who used to be programmers, right? Because why? There's the dedication and that will to succeed in it. So it can take you. There's no set time of it, just like there's no set time. We all want to finish our degrees, and I'm speaking to the students in rocket time, right? But
Correct.
sometimes that is not the case. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes it takes a person 5 years to do their master's degree. Sometimes it takes other people less. You understand? It's your application and effort that actually comes into play of how you actually want to survive in the technology. When RPA came out, I was so excited of RPA. I taught myself Blue Prism like nobody's business. I was using when Power BI came out, I was utilizing it like nobody's business. You get what I'm saying? So it's the application and the interest that you have in this that will define how long or how short it actually takes you to complete that course.
Okay. So Nilanjan, I want to ask you that people are like saying that everyone is learning Python, that so many courses are floating Python. The same question, if a technical person and non-technical person, is there any difficulty level increases or decreases as per their qualification? What is your opinion? Because you must be handling so many programs using based that if you are, it may not be like that you are only using Python, but like you are using Python only, there are many. So you can just throw light on what are the languages one should at least have an idea. Python everyone knows, but R is also there. So can you just throw light on that what are the programming languages one should try to learn before entering in this field?
Yeah, I am a very strong Python advocate. So, but I think basically to be a programmer, if you know one language, I think it is enough. Except for that, these days they have the object-oriented programming concept. As long as you are comfortable with the class, method, objects, these kind of things, then I think any language should give you enough as a starting point. And
Okay.
Python being open source, and with the kind of libraries and the dependencies that are coming out almost every day, Python I think is definitely a preferred choice for machine learning and artificial intelligence.
Okay. So Tavesh and then Yogesh, is the Python future for everyone then? Tavesh?
Yeah, I think Python is what I would call a safe bet now.
Okay.
But this industry changes so quickly. We have something called ML.NET, where you can do machine learning in a .NET language like C Sharp. So if you're a C, C++, or C Sharp programmer, you might still be able to implement machine learning models without even going to Python. But Python and the notebook environment seem to
Yeah.
be very popular at this moment. And I would say it's a safe bet if you're looking at studying and you're a student.
Wonderful.
That's a safe way to go.
Okay. Yogesh?
Well,
Yogesh Math?
Python is like the de facto standard nowadays. Personally, I try to use other languages also like Rust or Haskell, but Python is there and Python will be there. Uh, but I would like to share an interesting incident that happened with me. I Once an HR fellow came to me and then asked me that he didn't want to learn Python, but he wanted to do some predictions and want to use few things. So then I directed him to use Excel, which is ubiquitous. So, and he used it, and he created some macros, and then he came to me and said that now I want to do something more. So then I told him that this is point where, my friend, you have to learn Python. And then
Okay.
he went there. He was able to do that prediction, and he really did a very good job. So it's not very hard if you learn something like as simple as a spreadsheet. You transitioning into programming environment is easy for non-programmers.
Yeah. So there are many questions actually. I would just like to ask Tavesh one thing. People are asking what are the types of AI and why for predictive analytics only AI? And the next question is AI is a bubble? Is it true? These are the
No.
two questions we can take. So any of you can volunteer to answer this question. First question I want to ask Tavish, because the person has mentioned your name, that it is like how why for AI, and for why AI is only for predictive analytics.
Look, what is AI? AI has become a blanket term, right? What we are doing today is automated machine learning, which we're calling AI, and that is, if I want to be really simple about it, it's automated mathematics. We've
Exactly.
taken mathematical algorithms that we've known for decades, in some cases more than 100 years. We can use it today to deliver value in terms of a prediction. Why? Two reasons. We have the computing horsepower available today, and things like cloud have helped with this. And secondly, we have large amounts of data that we can train the model so that the model can be useful. Even 10 years back, we couldn't store, or it was expensive and difficult to manage petabytes of data. So that's all that is, right? So we have the data and we have the computing power. We're applying to this the mathematics which we've known for a very, very long time. And it's machine learning, data science. We're calling it AI. What will be called AI in the future will be other things as well, because now this is still in the mathematical realm. Now we're seeing robots come about, physical robots. We're then going to move to the physical realm, and people will start calling that AI. AI has just been an abused term. It's a blanket term. So it's actually, focus on the data and the mathematics. And that will always be relevant because there will always be a need to add value to business processes, to make businesses more efficient, to find something in your data that can help you gain an advantage over a competitor. Every business in every industry is looking for that. Even in public sector, with no
Exactly.
competitor, but you want to be optimized. I don't know if that gave a good answer.
Okay. On the same line, similar question I want to ask Nilanjan. They are saying then if everything is automated, it will replace the humans, and then what will happen with humans and their earning capacity? So can you, this is a, I know that the answer for this question, but as learner wants to know from the experts, so you can answer that. If everything is getting automated, they have mentioned the field of radiology also, then how it will happen? Like, what is the
Uh,
future?
this is what I call the Elon Musk paradox. Uh, the whole point is that what actually is getting automated is at a very low end of the value chain. So the kind
Oh,
of repetitive task that one does sometimes, and sometimes people make mistakes because of being physically tired.
hmm.
So if you're continuously doing the same thing, say if you're looking at an X-ray plate and if you're trying to find out if some rib is broken or something like that, you may just miss that because you are actually doing that 1,000 number of times in a day.
Okay.
Those kind of mistakes a computer will not make. But having said that, it is not a high value add job. It is something that you've been doing because you're experienced with that, but it still can be done by a low skill kind of a person. So these kind of tasks are actually what will get automated, while people will actually move higher up in the value chain. So
Okay.
they'll do more value added jobs, uh, and finally, AI still hasn't reached a place where it can deal with emotions, right? And
Yeah, correct.
that is a great thing that a human being has. So there's a lot of gap between what humans can do and what AI can do, at least today. But
Correct.
Elon Musk thinks that going ahead, there is a very high risk that AI will create robots and self-creating machines, and they'll start loving, hating. But we are a long distance away from there.
But still, emotions will keep us special, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone wants to add in this? Any of you, please add on this because it is very
So,
sensitive topic that they are saying AI will impact humans' earning capacity. So,
so,
Well,
can,
so as,
yeah,
as much as AI is called artificial intelligence, but it can never take away intellectual property of how a human
exactly.
sees things
Yes.
best fit. So you must know that it can never replace humans. In actual fact, I've got a couple of use cases where it had become a net value job adder rather than taking away people's jobs. And even through the pandemic, through just one thing with RPA, we saw how it helped to run a whole lot of operations, especially in the financial services industry, in the absence of people being hardcore in certain facilities. So no,
Okay.
it'll. I don't think we there yet. Very far, but you
Yogesh?
never know. You never
And
know. This our industry is very disruptive. But yeah.
okay. Yeah, correct. Yogesh, your opinion on this?
in addition to what Kausi and Nilanjan said, is so it's a very old debate. So we have Roger Penrose's Emperor's New Mind, and we have Steven Pinker's Blank Slate or other books. So both they have a different take on this. In Steven Pinker says that you can mind is computational. It's just that computational structure is not yet discovered, and whereas Roger Penrose says that it's not possible to do that. I think that
Okay.
debate is going to continue for a long time, and till that time, we as humans will still have a role to play here.
Exactly. So Tavish, you are representing like because many of the things, people are very much interested in knowing what will happen if everything gets automated. Then there will be jobs only for the data scientist, and all other fields will be empty. If I don't know coding, if I don't know anything in that, then where I will get the job? And many
Yeah.
people are thinking, the condition over here in the engineering field in India, computers and information systems and everything, the seats are getting filled faster rather than all other engineering faculties. So it is already impacting other educational faculties. Then about jobs, what is your opinion then?
I'll give you the answer. The answer
Yeah.
lies not in mathematics or in IT. The answer
Okay.
lies in economics. The answer lies in economics. If
Okay.
corporations automate everything and just make profits, people don't have jobs, people don't have the purchasing power. Those very same corporations then don't have customers.
Okay.
So what will happen is a short to medium term disruption in what type of jobs get moved around. As my colleague said, low value jobs, repetitive tasks will be impacted.
Exactly.
Humans will then have to move to high value jobs, but education is important. I've said this before in another interview. It could be that certain countries get affected more than others. The countries that don't invest in education, where they don't move their people up the value chain, those countries will be affected. But globally, the world cannot function if everybody doesn't have a job, because the companies won't have customers. Economics will break that down.
Okay. So basically, you all mean to say that it may impact the low value job, but not high value jobs, you are saying. So learners, you please remember that whatever these industry experts are saying, they are working in the same field for more than 10 plus years. So they have the opinion of that it will not impact humans' earning capacity. So please remember that if you think on this, it is not like that AI will replace humans. It won't be like that. Yes, Nilanjan, you want to say something on this?
Yeah, on a lighter vein, Shilpa, it is
Yeah.
actually the data scientists who should feel scared, because Tavesh just mentioned about auto ML, where
Yeah.
people can just drag and drop certain things and build a huge AI model. So, and anybody can do that once auto ML actually, comes into play. So data scientists beware, but it is on a
So,
lighter vein.
yeah, on the similar line, one more question was there. We have actually time limit. There are three more questions we have selected. One more learner is asking if Excel and advanced Excel can do everything, why Python? So I think it is related with big data.
Look,
So,
I work for Microsoft. We love Excel,
okay,
but it can't do everything. So even though we love Excel, it can't do
okay,
everything, right? So
okay.
I mean, Excel has been used past its initial use, but I would say going forward, it's better to use the right tool for the job. We might bring Python into Excel. I don't know, but right now, it has a very specific purpose.
Okay. Anyone wants to share on the same, any view on this?
Yeah, AI is actually such a huge term. When we talk about cognitive abilities, when you hear some speech and then you find out what is the meaning, or when you do translation, things like that, Excel is certainly not capable of doing. So
Correct. But still, in advanced Excel data analysis tool pack is there. So at the initial level, at least we can do many things with that data analysis tool pack. So people are just asking because they want to start somewhere, they want to start. So basically they are asking based on that. And the last question I would like to take, and I want you to contribute, all four of you, is AI bubble?
No,
And
short answer is no.
definitely not. I know the answer, but it has come from the learner, so I'm just asking.
I'll answer very quickly, right? Um, the adoption will be very big over the next decade, and then it will become a normalized part of society. I mean, was software a bubble? No. Was
Yeah.
the microprocessor, was it a bubble? No. There was an initial bubble, and then it became a normal part of society, but we still need it. It's not going away.
Okay. Yogesh?
Definitely not. In fact,
Exactly.
you are finding it everywhere. Few years back, we used to call support and help. Now chatbots are everywhere. So things like that are happening everywhere. And in fact, uh, in day before, Tim O'Reilly said that uh, programming, everybody will know programming. I think this is what will happen with AI. Everybody will know some kind of AI as a part of their field, no
Okay.
matter which field they are in.
Exactly. So basically, you all want to say that is, it is not bubble definitely for, and some of the other part they are going to use AI. And last question, because that person has been asked twice, Kozi, can you answer this question? That what are the specific AI areas where ample jobs are available?
Whew, that, yo, I don't want to sound like a politician. You know, when they campaign, they always promise people jobs. There's jobs in this sector. Go study this sector, and then we end up being over flooded. You know, there's a time where being a chartered accountant was the thing, but there's so many chartered accountants right now. It's becoming a whatever situation. There aren't really sectors that I can point out. There are sectors that are on the rise, right? There are sectors where businesses are like from a data science and data engineering, businesses are investing quite a lot in that. You know, there was a time where RPA was, I mean, 2 years ago, any guy on the road who had an IT degree would get an RPA job very quick, you know, and it will accelerate their earnings. So there isn't an area, and that's why I'm saying that with AI, there's a whole lot of areas that come together in order to deliver that business value. So you have to look at which one best suits you. And sometimes the best way to do this is that if you have an opportunity to work for a professional services firm, you'll be able to explore quite a lot through their online learning platforms. And I think if you learn something, then you'll want to apply it into your career, making it a job. So that
100%.
there isn't, to be honest.
Yeah. So basically, students, you can see that there are jobs available in each and every field. It's not like only one of the fields jobs are available. And it's not like that you have to love the statistics. So I want to summarize the session because we have time limit also. So basically, what a person, it's not compulsory the person has to be an engineer, person has to have the coding background, person should be from the big experience to enter in this field. What you all should have, that is the passion for data, some logic that also you can develop after some time with the experience, some statistical and mathematics knowledge, and what all you need, that is passionate. Even people have seen that, as Yogesh already mentioned, as from HR person, like humanities background person also, if able to build the models and predict something, then why not everyone can do it? So I really want to motivate all of you to, because see, it's not like that you can join courses or you can do whatever algorithms you can learn. The problem comes that you people learn and then the practice. So practice with authentic data is very, very necessary. And second thing, what everyone has told, that is AI is not a bubble. So people may feel that if we learn, because in the last lecture, one person asked me, I studied R for 3.5 months, and now people are telling me to learn Python. So it's like that every day new language will come. Then how many languages should I learn? So this,
Can I
yeah,
say something, right? And
yeah,
my colleagues might agree.
please.
I've been
Yeah,
21 years. It will always change. The
yeah,
skill you need is learn how to learn. You know, even
exactly.
Python might go away in 5 years, with something better will come.
Okay.
Have the mindset where you can learn something very quickly. Learn that skill. That's the most important
Exactly.
skill.
Yeah. So you have to have that learning attitude basically. So whatever, if you have to have passion for data, learning attitude, and basically don't worry about jobs. As industry experts are saying, there are ample of jobs available in all the field, because ultimately why we learn and why we why we upskill ourselves, because of the new like new jobs, or you can say the more prospects or whatever. So basically, whatever I want to summarize over here, that is, you have to have passion, you have to have learning attitude, and you have to have the vision for yourself, that where you want to see yourself. Am I right, experts? So yeah, thank you. So I want to thank all of you for becoming here on Digital Regenesis platform. So in just short 1 minute, I want to tell, we conduct the courses like machine learning, mastering in Python, artificial intelligence and applications, cyber security, finance for non-finance, and we conduct creative thinking as well. So we have many courses. You can just visit our websites also. So this is the message for learners, that after industry experts' opinion, you choose whatever you like to learn. Basically, have that learning attitude, have vision for yourself, and go ahead. Sky is the limit. So I thank you, Nilanjan, Yogesh, Tavesh, and Cozy, for coming here today. Actually, our digital regions director was supposed to be here, but he's busy somewhere in other commitments. So he has sent me the message he could not attend this, but definitely. But you can see that there are n number of queries which are actually going. There are still queries are remaining. So I will mail you all the queries. Please take out some time for my students to attend those queries. Thank you so much for everyone for attending the session, and nice to meet you all, and have a great evening. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. And cheers
Thanks.
to everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.